Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about what I learned from interviewing $7 million accounting firms. This is part 2 to the first video. So if you didn't see the first half of this video, I recommend you go watch it after watching this video. Like, you don't have to go back to that one first. Like, this one will be a very good standalone video on its own. But if you want more context into some of the things I'm saying, go and watch that first video as well. So the first thing is that there are 3 things we're going to be talking about in this video. Number 1 is your sales process. Number 2 is going to be timing. Number 3 is going to be about building a brand and how to do so. And these are just things I've learned along the ways and things I did from interviewing these 7-figure firms, because I wanted to go and see if there are different things we can implement inside of our mentorship program that would help the students grow exponentially faster inside of their business. And also, if you want some help growing your business, maybe you've been like thinking about trying how to start a business, maybe you've been thinking about growing yours a little bit faster than what it's already growing, I just invite you to go ahead and check out our mentorship program to see if we can help you out inside of it. So, jumping into this video, right? So number 1 is sales process simplified. So the number 1 thing I kind of noticed with the different 7-figure firms is that they really have simplified sales. So I almost want you to imagine your sales process. And all a sales process is like from when the time the person books a consultation to when the time the person is onboarded. That is your sales process. Okay, so it's they book the call, maybe you have a form to fill out, maybe you have to do a thank you page video that tells them exactly what to expect in the call, and you have some testimonials you want them to read. Maybe you have a sales call that you do, maybe it's a 1 call or a 2 call. So it means you do a 5-minute call, then you do a 45-minute call, and after that there's an onboarding call, right? Those are all the steps inside of your sales process. So I almost want you to imagine your sales process more of a Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. It's simple, it's efficient, and it's very hard for you to get it wrong, right? And the reason why you want to do that is because you want to have a very similar customer experience every single time. So as long as you know that you have a client or you've done it so that someone is very happy, then you keep refining it over time until every single client has. Sorry, my camera died for a second. So when we're talking about simple and efficient, it's very hard to get it wrong, right? Because once you have the right customer experience, you can keep doing that across customers. What I see a lot of people do is especially if they're starting out, every single client has a slightly different experience. So maybe they do one call to get the client to sign up here. Maybe they try and take payment over the phone on one time, or maybe they send invoice the 2nd time, or maybe it's follow up for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different times. Maybe they don't really know exactly what to say when they're on their consultation call, so every consultation call is different. They don't have an onboarding call process, so every onboarding call is just very, very either stressed or fast or short. It's just it's very unprocessed, right? But when you understand how to do this, right, when you have it simplified, you don't have to be the only person that does this, right? You can have a virtual assistant do most of the process outside of the consultation call. And you can have other people, other staff accountants, do the sales process with very little training in most situations, most scenarios. It's the same thing when it comes to the same way that $1 million firm owners kind of run their business. Everything is very process oriented. Everything is very similar. Now, for some people, you might know that you need to do this, but it's you just want to keep things exciting and fun, right? And having a lot of processes, especially when it's your own business, can seem a little bit boring at first. I started my business so I could do whatever I wanted, right? I wanted to be able to control my time, be able to control this. And yes, that is true. But within the business, your goal needs to be to make it as easy and simple as possible, because then you can condense the amount of time it takes, right? Because I'm all for having a really fun business I really love doing, and there are certain aspects of my business I don't like doing, right? But for those aspects, I've made sure I've minimized it as much as possible. So it's it is fun, but my stuff is very processed. If you ever watch my channel, I generally have 3 YouTube videos I put out per week. I have one on Monday that's similar to this. I have one on Wednesday, which is generally me going through a Google document or some kind of whiteboard video. And then on Friday on my YouTube channel, I'll post a free training we do in our Facebook group, right? So it's 3 videos every single week, and that's a process, right? So I can do it, I can have my business partner do it, and she will be starting to do that pretty soon, but it's all the same, right? And some people think, oh, it's very mundane, but within that process, I can have as much fun as possible. Since I'm only doing 3 videos a week, I used to be doing 3 to 5 videos a day back when I was practicing how to do video marketing. So this is nothing. It takes me 5-10 minutes to make this kind of video, and it's nothing, right? But it's all about processes in order to have freedom, right? True freedom is really derived from process. Now, For $1 million firms, like, they understand, number one, like, exactly, for example, they understand how many calls will it take to get a client. They understand how many consultation calls, like, should they do, how long should a consultation call, like, take. Is it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 25 minutes, 45 minutes on average? Like, what is that average time? They know how long exactly, like, the conversation flow should go, and it goes almost exactly the same every single time, okay? So I think we've kind of beaten that up at sales process, and we have videos on this channel kind of teach you how to break down your sales process. We have videos talk about like follow-up, we have videos talk about like some certain scripts you can use, we have videos talk about how to actually do your consultation calls so people actually respect you more and are willing to pay you higher amounts of money. So I'm not going to go into too much detail here because we have a lot of videos on that subject on the channel. The second thing in this video is timing, okay? So there's never a right time to do things, right? There was a theory in like in investing that a lot of people try to do, which is like timing the market. That's like waiting for exactly when the market's going to like crash and you're about to go into a recession. People can like buy a bunch of stuff and they like don't invest until then. But what they started finding was that those investors actually made a lot less money over a 20-year period than investors that just kept investing small amounts every single day, every single month, over that same 20-year period, right? So what that shows is timing is a lot harder to do than actually just doing a little bit of it at a time every single day, right? It's about consistency, not about the perfect timing, right? Because there's never a perfect time in life. And whether it's trading, whether it's buying, investing, or whether it's starting a business, there's never a right time, right? So one challenge we have is like, corporate America, especially if you're working like in corporate finance or corporate accounting, right? It tends to kind of keep you in a lull. It's like your income goes up, but you're never really free, if that makes sense. And some people don't really want to be free, and that's okay. I'm not ever like saying that's a bad thing, but I'm saying if you do want to be free, you kind of have to like be aware of what's kind of going on, right? It's like your income goes up, but then the pressures to go and like buy something else, like a new boat, a new car, a bigger house, kind of go up as well. And most people spend exactly what they earn, right? And that's why like some people like have created a job like as an acronym of like just over broke, and it's just like, if you were to like leave the job without having anything else, your income goes down very quickly. I've seen so many people where like, they come on my consultation call from a mentorship program, like, yeah, I left my job like 3 months ago. It's like, okay, cool. So, how many months worth of savings do you have? Oh, I have like 30 days left of savings. Like, what? You've been making 6 figures per year inside of your job and you only have, 2 months of savings left. And it's I'm not making fun of that person. I'm just saying it's like, that's a system. A lot of people think that, once you start making, like 110, 120, 130, 175,000 per year, you're going to have like all this just like extra money kind of sit in the bank. But it's like, no, you're just going to have like more, debt, more toys, more things like that. And to each their own. It really depends. For me, what I always wanted was more of like freedom, right? I always want to have more control. One quote that kind of comes to mind whenever I think of people like in corporate America, and again, I'm not making fun of anyone, but it just kind of reminds me, like there was a quote in this movie called Fight Club by this guy named Brad Pitt, and basically says corporate America tends to keep you, he said, I see all this potential. I see squandering. He said, they're kind of like slaves with white collars working jobs we hate so we can buy stuff we don't need. And when he said that, I was like, ugh. That kind of punched me in the face a little bit when he said that, because I was just like, it makes sense, right? And I'm not saying that like, like when you start a business you can't do that, but it's just like, don't allow something that's designed to keep you in the same place, marginally like improving your life, to stop you from doing the thing that's going to exponentially increase your life, right? Because I talk to people all the time where it's like, oh, maybe the first year you might make $50,000 to $100,000, and some people are like, oh, $100,000 is not really enough to quit my job. Okay, cool, that's okay, right? So there's different things we can do to minimize the amount of time you're spending in your business. So then in year 2, when you're making $200,000 or $250,000, that's when things really change for a lot of people. So like some people, you get into like 50 grand per year or 100,000 a year, it's good. But if you're making a lot more in corporate America, then it might take you a little bit longer because you just have more ground to kind of break, right? So, but there is never really a right time for things. I mean, kids are going to get sick, holidays are going to come around, you have deadlines at work, you have month end, you have quarter end, you have year, like there's always a different deadline at work, no matter what you're doing, right? There's new projects, maybe they're implementing a new ERP system, maybe your spouse thinks you're spending too much time at work and they want, you to go and spend more time with them and like watch more movies, with the family on the couch, right? And it's just like, there's never a right time. Unfortunately, the real life challenge, like this is kind of life. Like everyone is going through these challenges, right? Like some people, they kind of say like, they come on the call for a consultation. They're like, you know, I'm going through like this, I'm going through this, I'm going through this, and I'm going through this. And everyone kind of like feels that the world is happening to them and like no one else has these same challenges. These are the same challenges that 80 to 90% of people have, right? Most people have children. Most people have like a job that, you know, maybe is not the most convenient. A lot of people, like nowadays, like, you know, we have some people still in that COVID kind of like environment where they don't have to, you know, go into work, but a lot of people still have a commute, right? Maybe your commute's like 10 minutes all the way to like an hour and a half, I've heard, right? But that's stuff that everyone kind of has, right? So it's not about like the stuff that happens to us. It's what do we do with what we have in order to go and move forward. For example, there was a gentleman who I spoke to, and he goes, yeah, I have an hour and a half commute to work. It's like, okay, so she says, so I can't start a business. Okay, cool. So when you're in your car, like, what are you listening to? Oh, you know, reggae, rap, you know, some cool songs. Like, well, you know, when I had a commute, I would just like listen to either like different marketing courses I was buying. I would listen to marketing YouTube videos, sales YouTube videos for the hour and a half drive that you would have. Imagine if you just had an hour and a half. Like that's the time most people don't have. Most people, what happens, like, you know, maybe they have kids. They have to like do like a 10 minutes, 20-minute drive to their children's school and then go, right? It's very hard to listen to like business tapes if your kids are in the car. In some cases, for hours, like he gets very, very like, oh, I don't want to listen. I'm bored. Blah 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 blah. So I make him go and put in headphones so he can listen to his stuff. You know, I can listen to my stuff. But use what you have. Use what you have to get ahead. Successful people, they take the same exact challenges that you have. Maybe in some cases their challenges might be worse. And they use that as fuel to go and grow and to make sure they make more money. Like maybe they start at like a worse place than what you did. Maybe they came from like, you know, extreme poverty. Or maybe they came from like Section 8 housing, right? And they keep doing and doing and doing and doing. They use that as fuel. Like they never want to go back to that. They use that as fuel for why they need to start their business. Versus people who don't really find success, they tend to kind of keep playing those same tracks in their head that cause them to stay exactly where they are. Maybe you get like a raise, you know? You get like your 2%, 3% raise. Maybe you get your bonus, which is taxed at like 50% every single year. So it's like, it sounds like it's like a huge amount of money. Like, yeah, dude, you got like a $20,000 bonus. Oh, but you only get $10,000 in the bank. Ooh. You know what I mean? So use what you have. There's never a right time. Just use what you have to get ahead. The next thing is you need to start developing a brand. So, when I say a brand is not about colors. It's not about pretty pictures and cool colors, right? That's not a brand. A brand is about who are you speaking to, what are you saying to them, and how are you going to be delivering the message over a long enough period of time. Give me 1 second. I have to blow my nose. Okay, remember, who, what, how. Who, what, how. Okay? That's no matter where you have it. Whether you have like a website, whether you have a LinkedIn profile, whether you have a Facebook account, Instagram account, whatever the case might be. Who, what, and how. That's all you're worried about, right? So a lot of people think it's like, yeah, just like the pretty colors on like a website, right? And like colors, that's cool, right? Because that can kind of like be a part of your how. But if that's all you think that, you know, marketing and branding is, you're not gonna be very successful. It's really about like, what does someone say about you after they've met you and you're no longer in the room to kind of like talk about what you do, right? So like, for example, the more people that know you kind of exist, the easier it is for you to implement what's called the snowball effect. So most of the times what happens for the students in our mentorship program is they start doing activities on day number 1 that don't really work out for most people until day number like 25 or day number 30. Maybe you make the partnership call and the person says, oh, I'm going to send you some leads, but they don't send you leads for another like, you know, 20 days or 25 days. And most people, like, you know, like, at least if they're in my program, I'm like, hey, this is kind of what to expect. I tell them ahead of time what to expect. But most people like who are doing this kind of on their own and starting a business, it's just like, they don't know that. So they do it one time and they don't know that you have to follow up. They don't know how to follow up. They don't know what to do. And it's just like, it just kind of like falls apart. But it's like for those who actually stay and keep doing the thing, that even though it's working but it doesn't look like it's working, and they understand like what the process is, they keep moving and they keep getting more. So then all of a sudden it's like they get 1 client at the end of the month, then 2 clients, then 3 clients, then 4 clients, then 5 clients, 6 clients. Then you start getting them in chunks like of like 5. So now you're at 10 clients, right? And then it starts snowballing. But it all comes from like number one, expanding that sphere of influence and the total number of people that know you exist. Now there are ways you can do that where you can like utilize LinkedIn to start growing your network. It's pretty linear. I personally like doing more of like partnerships, so I like utilizing LinkedIn to go and develop partnerships with individuals that give me more than 1 client at a time. So now your growth is starting to become exponential over time. And if you're worried about like maybe you're going to grow too fast, like most people are not going to grow faster than what they can control. Like you're literally not, right? Because most times what happens, like if you start growing faster than what you're like really comfortable with, most people kind of like sabotage themselves a little bit. So it's like you're never really going to have that. There are a number of different ways we kind of have you like slow it down. Number one, you could just tell your partners like you're not accepting clients at this time. Number two, you could go and put on like your Google Calendar form that you don't have any time slots open for the next like 2 weeks. You could actually put people on a waiting list. There's a million different things you can do to kind of slow down your growth without necessarily like sabotaging yourself and stopping future growth from being able to happen, right? So a good example is like one of our students named Audrey. So whenever she wants to go and grow her business by like 5 to 10 grand per month, she basically just goes on her LinkedIn profile and turns on her LinkedIn machine. So like there's a lot of like different automations you can use for every single social media platform. In this case, she's using one for LinkedIn. So it basically knows exactly who to start talking to. It knows exactly what is our message conversation script, and it makes things very, very simple. So all she has to do is just like open her LinkedIn and then give someone like some manual times or send like her booking link. You could automate like when someone sends the booking link. I personally don't like it because I like to verify just in case like before the person like gets on the phone that they are someone who I really want to work with. Automation is not like 100% like thinking yet, so it's just like you still have to kind of like give it some thought to assist the machine to like say, okay, so let's send the final message to like get them to book a call. But at this point, it's pretty much semi-automated. But yeah, so it's just really, really simple, right? So for example, she got like a $2,800 per month client last week, right? But it all comes from being able to control that process. And even going back, like, right, we talked about the sales process needs to be simplified. If you have a very strange sales process, you don't have a good message script, like, it's like, you can't have an automated like robot going in and doing the stuff for you because there's no process for it to follow, right? So it's all about learning how to like start doing that, and developing that brand is gonna be important because it's like, so most people, what happens, like you maybe only know like 3 to 5 business owners that you've ever spoken to, especially if you've come from like either a corporate background or been working like a job, maybe like in healthcare, or like maybe you're like in mortgage, right? And maybe you don't have a huge amount of like business contacts. Maybe you've been spending most of your time talking to other consumers, or you just don't really talk to them on your day-to-day. Like maybe you don't really have a lot of friends, right? So it's like the first things first, you have to start growing that footprint. Like for me, for example, every single day I have an email list. It's about 13,000 people, right? And I email the people on my email list about 13,000, right? So generally on an email, you're expecting anywhere between like 15 to, we'll say, like 25% open. So let's say that's 12,000 people on your email list times about, we'll say 25%, right? That's 3,000 people I'm able to talk to every single day just on email alone. That's not counting my Facebook. That's not counting my, my Facebook personal page has, I think, like 3,500 people on it. My Facebook group has 34,000 people in it. My LinkedIn has, about 5,000 people. My Instagram has about 6,000 people, right? So it's like all together, that's a lot of people. So we'll count 3,000 that open the emails. We'll count 3,000 on my Facebook. We'll count 32,000 on my Facebook group. We'll count 5,600 on my Instagram. We'll count 5,000 on my LinkedIn. That's about 48,000 people that I can communicate with. That's not even counting Twitter. I forgot about Twitter. But it's not even counting that social media platform. You know what I mean? So it's 48,000 people every single day. Of course, I'm going to be making a lot more money than someone who only has like 3 business owners they ever even know, right? So it's all about just expanding that brand. This is nothing. Like, I have goals for next year. I want to go and increase my Facebook group by about, what is that? It's at 30 now. I want to get to about 50,000. I want to go and add, what? That's wrong. 50,000. Yeah, so I mean, it's not that much. It's only like 20,000 people. So, it's not even like that much. It's just you have to do it very, very consistently in order to go and do it. So that's what it was. It's 50,000 times 5. Yeah, so not terrible. Not terrible at all. It's just you got to do it, and you just got to put in that time, put in that work. And there are things you can do to grow faster. Like, it's not going to take me that long in order to go do it. It's probably going to take me about another year to get to about 50,000 group members at the end of the year. Yeah, only 20,000 people, so not very hard. But it's all about thinking about that on a daily basis. Like, how many people know you exist? And how many of those people have you contacted in the last 20, 30 days? Once you have that, that's where things really grow. That's where life really improves and gets a lot easier for you. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you learned something new. This is what 7-figure firms do that most people do not. And, you know, if you want some help growing your business, maybe you've been thinking about doing this stuff, but you just don't know what you don't know, or maybe you're just like trying to avoid a lot of the mistakes that most people are going to make along the way that cause people to fail. If that's you, go ahead and click on the link inside the description, either above or below the video, to book a call with myself or a member of my team to see if we can help you inside of our private mentorship program. Now, we can't help everybody. Number one, we just don't have that much capacity. Like, this is more of a smaller mentorship program where we're taking you by the hand and making sure you know exactly what you need to do in order to go and succeed inside of your business. So if that's you and you want something like that, go ahead and click on the link, book a call with either myself or a member of my team to see if we can help you inside of the program. Take it easy. Talk to you soon. Have a good rest of your day.